Hello everybody, it's me, the Wrestlemania. I'm back again with another 8-Bit Wars. As you can see, today I'll be playing a Rock N Wrestle. Now, as always with the 8-Bit Wars, I'll start off with the ZX Spectrum, Amstrad, and then the Commodore 64. And the reason why I do it in that particular order, guys, is because that's the order I actually own the machines in. Now, another reason why I do just these three computers is because these were the three main 8-bit computers in the UK. Now, I know there were other 8-bit computers, but I didn't own them, and back in the playgrounds in the UK, it was basically the Spectrum versus the Amstrad versus the Commodore 64. That was the 8-bit wars here in the UK playgrounds. Right, so let's talk about Rock N Wrestle. So it's a wrestling game, from what you can see there. I believe it was done by Melbourne House, which were the same guys, the same company that produced Way of Exploding Fist. Now, guys, straight from the get-go, I'm going to tell you how much I love this wrestling game. All three different versions are absolutely superb, and if anything, it probably is in my top 10 favourite wrestling games ever. It really is that damn good. This probably is the best 8-bit computer wrestling game out there. Now, the reason why I like these three different versions it's just the amount of moves you've got at your disposal. When you think about it, all it was is one joystick that you can move in 8 different directions, and you had a fire button, and you had so many moves. Now, let's talk about the Spectrum version first of all. I've just been nattering on. Now, the Spectrum version's not the prettiest of Spectrum games. It does look a little bit blocky, but you know what? When you consider the amount of animation frames it must have had to actually do this wrestling game, because there are so many moves, you can understand why. Now, it's got your typical sort of like Spectrum sound effects, which I do think work pretty well. They do sound like your characters in pain. Okay, so also, guys, with the Spectrum version as well, it probably is the buggiest of all the three different versions. Sometimes when you do hit something the wrong way, your character does freeze for a second and doesn't react the way it's meant to. But again, look at that. That was just like an aeroplane spin there, and that was the 1, 2, 3 I've got. On to the next opponent. Now let's talk about the moves you've got at your disposal. You've got a punch, you've got a kick, you've got a headbutt, you've got an atomic drop, you've got a suplex like the one I've just done there, you've got a back suplex, you've got an elbow drop to the floor, you've got a clothesline, drop kick, what was the other one? A flying body press. And you've got, oh man, there's loads of moves you've got at your disposal. And that's what makes this game work so well. It would have been nice, if you had different moves for different characters. But you know what? Memory restrictions going, I think this works pretty well that way. Alright, so going back to the graphics, again I got sidetracked. The graphics, like I said, are a little bit blocky. The things are yellow there, the ring. The background's kind of nice there. You've got a weird mixture of characters there. On the bottom left, you've got someone that looks like Charlie Chaplin. Somewhere on the bottom right, you've got a character that looks like Ghostface from Scream. And the other characters look like they belong in the cantina scene in Star Wars. There we go, that's the 1, 2, 3. Now, what I used to enjoy about playing Rock N Wrestle was that my cousin, he also used to own the Commodore 64 version. So he used to practice, really hard, and I used to practice really hard, and we used to sort of meet up every sort of weekend, and would have Rock N Wrestle matches. Now, the versions did play very different, which you will see, but their overall gameplay was pretty much exactly the same. If anything, I think the Spectrum version was probably the easiest version out of all the 8-bit versions that I'll be comparing today. But I do enjoy it, I think the AI wasn't that superb, but if anything, I got hours and hours of gameplay fun on it. Great wrestling game for the Spectrum. Check out that loading screen there. Now, this is the Amstrad version of Rock N Wrestle. Now, straight away, you can see the sprites look a lot nicer. Now, I'm not 100% keen on the colour scheme, but it's a great improvement on the Spectrum version. And again, if you look at the background, it's nice and colourful. Some of the guys to the far left and right look like a bizarre mixture of aliens and creatures and parrots and stuff. You can see the one I mean. Anyway, so let's talk about this Amstrad version. Okay, Gameplay, pretty much exactly the same thing as the Spectrum version, all the same moves at your disposal, but everything looks a little bit prettier. It really does. And it's not as buggy as the Spectrum version, and basically the gameplay, the AI, it's a little bit tougher. Now, talking about the moves, me and my cousin, we used to sort of do our own moves. Well, we didn't create our own moves. We'd basically try and do our own signature moves by combining certain moves. See if I can show you. Now, that guy with the hat we used to call Hillbilly Jim or Giant Haystack, depending on what mood we were in. A beautiful little clothesline there. Let's see if I can show you some of the moves we used to do. And again, you just basically pull towards you and then right back. And that's a suplex there by me. Do a little bit of wrestling commentary. I just love how easy the moves just come together in this game. Another beautiful suplex there. Shades of the Dynamite Kid. There we go. Irish whip. And I messed up the drop kick. Alright, try again. And second drop kick I've messed up in a row. Let's see if third time lucky if it'll work. Nope. I can do a snap suplex. Now guys, as always, please feel free to comment and give us your feedback on the 8-Bit War videos, and let me know what version you thought was the best, and just let us know what you thought of the game, or whether you had this game or not, basically. Right, so I think I've defeated this guy. Time to cover him for the pin, methinks. He got up. Alright, am I going to go for the pile driver? Oh yeah. Shades of Terry Funk there. 1, 2, 3, yeah. 1, 2, 3! And your winner is the real local maniac. Alright. Don't know what that guy's supposed to be. He looks like a Mexican wrestler, or a superhero from DC that got fired and he ended up in an Amstrad game. Nice little moves there. Let's see if I can do my move. Drop kick. That was just a perfect drop kick there. Moving backwards just to add a little bit of dramatic effect there. Alright, overall the Amstrad version, guys, plays slightly better than the Spectrum version because it's less buggy and it looks a lot better than the Spectrum version. Now for the Commodore 64 version. Now the title screen's not as colourful and as nice as the Amstrad version. But check this out, guys. Okay, gone is the arena there, They've gone for what WCW used to do when they couldn't sell out a crowd, which was turn off the lights and just put the spotlight on the ring. Right, so if anything, that probably allowed for slightly more memory. And what you've got here is some nice cheerful music that accompanies the game really, really well. Now, if anything, guys, this game plays the fastest out of all of them, and the AI is probably the best out of all 3 different versions. And it's the version which basically I have the difficulty with the most. This guy here, while making this video, it took me about 4 attempts to actually beat this guy. So you can tell I'm a little bit angry here because I'm actually booting him here. I love the sound effects. That's some of that. Yeah, this guy really annoyed me because while I was trying to make the video for this, he just kept on pinning me. That's it. He ain't getting up after that. That was serious wrestling there. I had like a real anger and hatred for that guy. And local wins. Right. So time to fight this bleach blonde guy, which back in the day I used to think was a mixture between Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair. Who knows? I used to let my imagination run wild back in the good old days. Beautiful elbow drop. That was a little combination that I made up back in the days, just to speed up things. Beautiful suplex there again. Now guys, like I said, this version probably plays the most fluid, and it's probably the most nicely animated out of all the 3 different versions. It's a fantastic game, which I think everyone should play. Not just the Commodore 64 version, but all people should play all the different versions. Hey, look at this guy here. This guy looks like he belongs in the YMCA. Look at that handlebar mustache. Oh, look at that. Vicious elbow drop there. Right, now it's time to choose the winner of today's 8-Bit Wars. And in third place is the ZX Spectrum. You know what, guys? In second place has to be the Amstrad CPC464. And the winner of today's 8-Bit Wars is obviously the Commodore 64 because it just excels. See you next time. Goodbye.